Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Todd Ronan, and I'm here with Liz on the Patreon channel. And you've had a request to make it exciting. And I thought the best way we could do that is create a new series for you guys, released every Thursday on Unmasking the Dark. And I wanted to do that safely. Everyone's always curious about dark entities, but I thought we could bring in light entities to ask about dark entities so that they would give us the truth. And we can see how this goes. Hey, Liz, how are you?
Scared, but go ahead.
Yeah, Liz is, don't burn my house down.
No, I don't want to be chased by demons. I don't want black mist rising up from my floor. I don't want to be outside howling at the moon. None of that. So yeah, take it away.
So is there a way that we can bring in Archangel Michael?
Yes, I have Archangel Michael here.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
How does he interact with humans on Earth? In what ways?
He protects them and he answers their prayers, or he certainly gathers their prayers and takes them up. He sort of like sorts them. Oh, this one, can go to source. This one goes this way. This one goes that way. So, and he disseminates where they need to go.
Have there been other Archangel Michaels, or has he always held the position?
No, it's only one, him.
Did he ever incarnate as an Earth human, or has he always been in the hierarchy of angels?
No, he's always been an angel. God.
Has he ever incarnated not on Earth?
No.
Does he have any unique role in spiritual warfare?
Yes, he protects us from the dark.
What's the nature of his relationship with other celestial beings and hierarchies of beings?
So there's a team of angels that are dedicated as protectorates, because the biggest thing that we have to do is protect our souls. The dark always wants the soul to come over to the dark side in order to be used as energy, right? And the task is to keep us all in the light. You don't want to lose a soul over to the dark side.
Has he seen examples of souls being lost to the dark?
Many examples.
Has that frequency increased or decreased over the last 10, 15, 20 years?
That's a good question. Has that frequency increased or decreased? It's increased. The dark are becoming more manipulative. They're finding better tools to take us over to the dark side.
What are some of those tools that the dark is using to gather those souls?
Promises are often used. Belief systems are used. A negative belief system, something that looks good on the outside, but actually, if taken too far, is a negative belief system. Trickery, alcohol, addictions, drugs. Those are all gambling. Shopping addiction, any type of addiction where the consciousness gets hijacked, and then the soul is making its way over to the dark. The soul becomes powerless.
Does he know what happens to those souls once they're consumed by the dark, or is it out of his purview?
They then work for the dark and they're enslaved by the dark. They have to perform darkly duties, right? Or the soul will be incinerated.
So there are roughly 8 billion people on Earth, and that number has increased over the last 50 years. Where are those new souls coming from? And are they new souls that are entering?
No, it's the same amount of souls, but you have to take into consideration that every living being on the planet, whether an amoeba or a human being, has a soul.
So there are trillions and trillions and no numbers unknown of souls on the planet, not just one.
Right. So if you think in terms of like deforestation, you're, killing forests and, you're killing souls, and but those souls, that's okay because then they, go back up to the spirit world. I'm not saying deforestation is okay. Please do not write me hate mail. Deforestation, those souls go back into the spirit world and they're ready to reincarnate. So it's everything is energy. It's all about the same amount. Obviously, some souls get lost to the dark, some souls get incinerated, some souls are not able to reincarnate, some souls ascend and get reabsorbed back into source, and then source then cuts another part of himself, for lack of a better pronoun, part of, source's self in order to bring another soul. So it seems to be the same revolving number.
Can he offer any guidance on people that are confused about their soul's purpose, that what they might need to do in order to help feel more fulfilled in their lives?
Well, yeah, not finding your purpose is a tool of the dark, right? I mean, that's huge. And people often, that's a question that I get a lot. What is my purpose? And people think that they're supposed to be like a Mother Teresa type of figure. And there's only so many of those to go around. But actually, the soul's purpose is internal work on yourself and putting your soul back together. It's been battered and bruised, scraped, bumped. You've lost pieces along the way of your timeline. You need to try to retrieve those pieces, put them back in, and that's your main soul purpose. Of course, we all have different types of purposes where we create, companies, we're parents, we're daughters and sons, and so we have those familial relationship purposes, friendships, marriages, things like that. Animal rescue could be your soul purpose. But I mean, those are sort of outside of the self. You have outside of the self purposes, and then you have inside of the self purposes. So the real soul purpose is on the inside of the self.
Are there any practices that he can suggest that people can do in order to help gain more fulfillment of their everyday lives and that draw against separation from their self?
Yes. And it's all to do with self-love and acceptance of who you are. That's a big thing. Having confidence, all those positive emotions. It's about an energy exchange, swapping out the dark emotions for the positive emotions. You can't just mask the emotions. You really have to either transmute them or throw out the dark emotions and swap them for the light emotions.
How can people defend themselves against that pull towards the darkness or separation of themselves? Or does it need to have specific examples of how to protect themselves?
Well, I think we have to experience a level of darkness to know what we don't want, right? For those of us that, are walking the moral tightrope, right? Sometimes you have to fall off the tightrope or be shown or witnessed or, victimized in some way, or even maybe a perpetrator into the dark side, that that that's not where you want to be. And so, we have to experience light and dark. That's something that as humans we have to experience. We can't all be all light beings 100% of the time. That just isn't, then there's no purpose for even your soul existing if you don't have any challenges.
Can people invoke him to help some of those challenges, or would that diminish their ability to grow their soul?
Yes, they can always invoke Archangel Michael, but obviously, if there's soul lessons to be learned, he's just standing by and trying to, maybe prompt you to find the light. But if he can't interfere with soul contracts, he can't override those contracts, but he can certainly help to guide you through them.
Can he be in? This is a simple human question, but people may be wondering it. Can he be in multiple places and multiple hearts and ideas at once?
Multiple places. Yes, because he's a consciousness, right? So, and he's not bound by a body, so he's expandable. Yes, absolutely. And he often is in multiple places. Pieces of his consciousness are staying with individuals in order to assist them, but he can always recall those pieces of consciousness back.
Besides being the protector of darkness, does he have any cosmic duties to protect this planet Earth from danger and other malevolent forces?
Not so much the planet Earth, but certainly the inhabitants on the planet. Planet Earth is under a whole different realm, and planet Earth doesn't, according to him, doesn't need to be protected like the people or the beings that live on the Earth, because the Earth has this innate power to always protect itself. If it finds that it's being destroyed too much, an event will occur which will always show and remind people the power of the Earth and the planet, whether it's like through tsunamis or floods or fires or earthquakes or whatever natural disasters. There's always reminders coming through on that scale that you are just here temporarily. You are not here permanently. The Earth is a permanent fixture and will always be able to save itself. So Archangel Michael is more concerned with the inhabitants.
And does he have dominion over the non-human inhabitants as well? And does he guide those souls or energy splinters?
So non-human inhabitants?
Right.
Yes, but they don't have the consciousness that we have as humans, right? They don't have this idea that there's source and this complex, state of affairs that we all find ourselves in. They're just basically wired for survival and survival of the species. And that's all they're really concerned with. They're not so much concerned with an elevated consciousness of there's an afterlife. They don't think that way. That was what was so interesting about Coco, Coco, the gorilla that we did the other day,
right.
Which is that was proof that the species, the gorilla species and advanced apes and things like that were on the cusp of human consciousness and certainly had room for that consciousness expansion.
So can we ask Archangel Michael about his idea, how he thinks we should evolve this series going forward, and if it's okay for us to ask about the nature of these dark entities through him and his angel force.
Yes, absolutely. Because if it promotes learning and understanding and education, and it gives him a voice to keep us all towards the light and to keep us away from the dark, then absolutely.
Well, I appreciate it. And I'm excited about this idea. I wanted to illuminate in a protected way the forces of darkness without actually touching them. So we appreciate the shield that he will provide for us in order to do that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even doing the kind of work that you do and I do, something that you teach in your remote viewing course that is not taught anywhere else that I'm aware of, is this whole idea of protecting yourself before you do a remote viewing session. I don't know why importance isn't placed upon that within the remote viewing, school of thought. Do you know why that is?
Because remote viewing existed as a military force, they didn't believe in energy. And so it's all adapted from regimented precision and not energy work. They don't really even believe that you can feel emotions. So that's why. But I see the benefit to it.
You must protect yourself, and doing the work that I do and you do. And of course, Ronan's remote viewing course teaches you all that, how to protect yourself, ground yourself before and after a session. It's so important, because when you are opening up and inviting things to come in, that whole channel has to be, has to be protected. And
Right.
and this is where Archangel Michael is instrumental in that.
Well, we appreciate his time. I don't think we want to touch on any darkness right now, but we will begin this quest along with all of you. And we appreciate you joining us on this. If you do have questions you'd like us to ask and help illuminate for you, please do so in the Patreon. And we look forward to hearing those questions. And Liz, I look forward to you being the brave soldier with me to approach these questions that no one else is willing to touch on to get to the truth. And thank
Oh,
you to Archangel Michael as well.
thank you. You're scaring me, Ronan. I know you got the questions written down. You're scaring me. All right. Thank you. This is great. Thank you.